Hello, good afternoon. First of all, thank you very much for organizing this very impressive conference. Especially, I like that it's really community-driven event, not too commercialized. So let me get started with my presentation today. So I'm BIM lead at Umdasch Group Ventures. Our company is actually not very well known as a group name, but most of you may heard about Doka or the Stonemakers, which is our core daughter company. My name is Junghwo Park, originally from South Korea, and today what I'm trying to show here is a little bit not really close to BIM, but I would like to provoke this manifesto to fabricate that. As you can see from my profile photo, we all talk about digital twin, but it's to me feels like too engineered and a little bit of lack of joy. And I want to bring this kind of theory to practice. So before we get started, I would like to, of course, introduce my company. We are about 8,800 people around the world, and we have like 5 continents with 170 locations around the world. We are very expert in construction and formwork, especially as far as shop fitting and retail sector. One of our most traditional family business in Austria goes back to 1868, and the turnover in 2022 was 1.8 billion euro. We made it. So, of course, we not really actively consulting and providing service for BIM, but we have a virtual design and construction area where we offer internally set up our open BIM strategy and BIM project management and asset management and BIM process management. The software training, we also do software training, depends on our software solution for the external clients, but mainly at the moment we are doing focus on our internal organization. So we set up our custom workflows and also strategy for the workshops. Of course, without saying that we are also developing BIM software and plugin development, and also dealing with many areas. But especially today, I brought this topic about Metavers, specifically focused on the virtual space, because one of the main core or goal of our business is to create spaces, and there are many technologies out there available today, and especially most of us heard about VR, AR, and XR, and also digital twin. I've seen today the impressive bridge construction with a digital twin solution. But Metaverse is something not yet very highlighted in our construction industry. It's quite simple, nothing different than AR, VR, and XR. The only thing we can classify is that the XR, AR, VR is quite simple and easy to use, whereas Metaverse, it requires very good experience of your game logic. So if you are a gamer, of course, it's very simple to use it. But if you never played game before, then it might be a bit hard. In terms of business use case, you can use for marketing, HR, hiring the new employees, or e-training, game, analytics, e-commerce. Everything is possible. But one of the core importance in Metaverse is that social activity. It's driven by social activities, and also it offers different technology in terms of blockchain technology, and also cryptocurrency, and etc. Here I want to argue that I have practiced personally the BIM process back in 2004. And when I'm looking at now all those domain models from different authoring software, if I'm trying to open it from the server, it's just nightmare. The project team some of them is dead, or some of them is not available. And all of these models, in reality, is stored in BIM jail or BIM prison. And I guess most of us focus on building things, and after building is completed, then all this data is stored somewhere in data bank. And then when you're trying to open for the renovation or extension of your project, you may encounter exactly the same problem. Unless you really structured and overview your documents month by month. So there are a couple of maturity level in terms of virtual space, because metaverse, this definition of metaverse is not yet clearly defined, and there's no standardized organization or terms available. So we defined level 1 virtual space is simply using 360 panoramic photos or rendering, but giving the very immersive experience together with the architectural planning. And in this case, we used in Sibiu hospital planning. The planning team was struggling to explain their proposal to the city of Sibiu, and also the public fund is hesitated to funding without understanding their planning process. So what we propose here for the level 1 virtual spaces, using architectural rendering, as well as different web solutions, just like a 2D website. Currently, we are using Web 2.0, but we are trying to evolve our web technology towards Web 3.0. And here we can see we can integrate with the web technology, with a project overview, with timeline. You can share the documents. You can bring BIM model, even though it's simple rendered image of plan, but it gives quite enough information for public people who wants to see the project without any technological knowledge. It's very easy, intuitive, and tangible. And here you can see that there are different hotspots you can explore. Of course, the UI and UX design is important, but as simple as possible, that's the most important for the level 1. And here you can see the end users can just click, just like as if it's a website, and go through each different facility. Here is a break room and operation room. You can see it's nothing different than what we are doing regularly, but for the ordinary people, it's a great chance to get the information. Here is nursing station and also patient room. So this is level 1 metaverse or virtual space, we say, and level 2 is more interaction, immersive experience needed in terms of AR and VR experience. So you can bring your BIM model to virtual space, and the big difference of metaverse, if we define, you can access with multiple people, and your avatar can explore the space. So for instance, here is the hospital, the photogrammetry model into the virtual space. You can change your person mode, one person mode to third person mode. You can chat, you can have voice chatting, you can have meeting. You can bring your model in this space. You can upload, you can share, you can scale. Everything is possible. And this particular technique is necessary for the pixel streaming using cloud computing. But the thing is, everything is really possible these days. It's just a matter of how we think, how we share our approach. So we ask our team, ourselves, to our company, please fund us. We would like to build something in virtual space, which does not exist. But at the same time, there was many design iteration. Okay, it's a virtual building. It doesn't have to be stand on ground. But when you actually, we realize with a lot of design iteration, if the building doesn't make any sense in virtual space, and it also doesn't make sense in virtual space. So we start to think about structural elements and print it out if it's really working, and it worked. And then this is our proposal. So it's floating on the ocean. The spaceship is half synced on the water. And you can see there are a lot of decoration which is not possible in real world because of cost or maybe different factors. But in here, you can see we can really maximize our imagination and give this user experience to your internal organization or external partners to bring here, have meeting or lectures or sharing your work experience. The main idea is we want to play here, we want to work here, we want to share here, and that's the main goal. So the design process for the proposal is really nothing different than what we are doing as an architect or engineer. So we do conceptual design in CAD software, and then thinking about all kinds of building elements as if it's like real-world project. So here, vertical circulations and also horizontal circulation, we have to think about all this infrastructure, because otherwise people often get lost in virtual space. So the navigation tool in virtual space is also very important. So this building envelope, eventually we develop further, and then, okay, this is digital building, but we are expert in BIM or digital technology. We have to make all kind of exact same building entities in this virtual space. So we segment all these building floors, and then this input, we can use it for later for programming or additional plugin to use. So but the hard thing here is again, collaboration. The collaboration is really difficult because in this multidisciplinary team, we are working together with different sister companies. Was very difficult, but we have to engage with these talented people. At the same time, how are we going to use our 3D asset from like Tekra and Inventor, or these mechanical parts from asset? And the design team is focused on very flexible design tools such as Rhino and Grasshopper or Visual Arc. And then we have a graphical designer or artist that they use Blender for texturizing or animating the building process. And also we have a UI and UX designer using Adobe softwares. And all this work, data flow has to be, instantly revised and synchronized. So we use in the middle Speckle as a communication bridging tool. And then at the end, our programmers deploy all this input in game engines such as Unreal and Unity using different programming languages. So you can see here our Rhino model. It's very highly texturized and decorative because even though we scheme for somehow realistic building, in virtual space, this neon graphic is very attractive because in real world we cannot achieve that. But at the same time, we're giving all kind of IFC entity. We classify all kind of IFC entity in this building envelope and structure. And we test, okay, this is real building, has to be real building. We coordinate this very structured data as an information that our programmers later mining this structural data for their programming without any difficulties. So that's the reason why we propose it, even though imaginary building, but we try it as close to real-world building planning process. And then the Speckle allows us to exchange the data from single source of truth, which was actually Rhino. But then all this kind of workflow was possible with the multidisciplinary team. Of course, there are key workflow we have to think about. In Metavers, as you see level 2 approach, you can just bring your existing building to the virtual space, but there are certainly you need to re-engineer in terms of geometrical property. You need to somehow simplify for the performance because everything goes to the WebGL or web rendered technology. So in this image, we set the geometrical optimization, and then we have to set the collider. So we cannot use just all the complex geometry to collide of the barrier, the avatar movement. So there are some certain part of the computational engineering needed, and also that goes to our 3D artist. At the end, all this input goes to the game engine and deploy with a different method to realize it. One of the important things is Metaverse. There is no definition of Metaverse, but we wanted to set our pilot project in the Decentraland as an initial part, because there have certainly the idea of decentralized community-driven platform, and also NFT and cryptocurrency is integrated. So here we bought 4 blocks of land. At the time was about 7,000 euro for the 4 blocks. And that's great opportunity for us, but it was very hard for large organization like us because we have to deal with our financial department, marketing department, as well as our management board to convince what this digital asset is about, what's the blockchain technology in this gaming environment. So we deploy our practice in here, in Decentraland. And then we realized that each platform has different characteristics, as if we use different software, and each software has different taste of your graphical outputs or also the functions. So now we are testing internally with multiple colleagues in another platform called Spatial IO. And there we gathered and have a video conference, and we have guided tour, and then we did test lecturing in there as a virtual lectures. The speakers come like this stage with your own avatar and roll out their speaking. So we're going to have actually real event next week. Unfortunately, it's in German. We roll out in German version first, and then we'll populate. If it's successful, we would like to populate it in the future more often in English version. So level 3 is there are unlimited possibility you can think about in terms of analytics and gamification, digital twin. We can link sensor data, IoT data into virtual space, or we can also use blockchain technology, of course, pixel streaming, multi-language support, or customizable function, responsive UI. All these things has to be go into next level of website. We define it as a Web 3.0. So I'm going to conclude my presentation here. It's a bit provocative for all your engineers and architects. Maybe you laugh at it. But since this year, January, I titled myself as a Metavers architect, which means, BIM manager there's no exact meaning of BIM manager, right? So I'm starting myself with a new role, Metavers architect. And I hope to see in the future Metavers structural designer or structural engineer, MEP engineers, or Metavers building owners. And that's some kind of dream I'm trying to catch up. And thank you very much for today's presentation. And I conclude here.